Say it with me, guys. No, the store is broken. The Steam store is broken, like it is every sale. It's broken for the first couple hours of the sale. It's a damn good thing it goes on for 2 weeks because it's broken the first couple hours. I can't even put things in my cart now. Look, he is laughing his ass off. He thinks it's hilarious. This happens every time, and every time we think they got their shit worked out and it's actually going to work. I got one sticker, I put one trashy game in my cart, and it died. It died. I can't get even back to looking at games now, and I tried coming online to do it. Yeah, it's broke. Steam will be broke for the next couple hours. I think I can still play the games I have loaded in my library, but I can't. I don't even know if I can get to my car. Could I? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way I could hopscotch around the site, but I just have to give it time. And it's actually a pretty good lesson for, what we're going through currently globally and everything else. A lot of things we're just going to have to give time. Like, I think most of us are happy to see statues going, most of us, that celebrate a past that should have never happened in the first place. But, I'm of the feeling that I'm happy to see these statues going, but let's do it in a way that gets them gone forever, not in a way that causes a reaction where now we have troops sent out to protect these monuments, because that's the exact opposite, thing you want. You want to use persuasion and say, well, this is why we want these gone. Like, why do we even have war monuments in this country? We don't have peaceful monuments. If you want to know about America, look around and see all the war monuments we have. We have like maybe one or two peaceful monuments, and they get defaced on a regular basis. So that tells you all you need to know about Americans. And the thing is, most of us wouldn't consider ourselves violent or warlike people. But we're very warlike country. We're often compared to Rome for a valid reason. We're a very militaristic bent country. I remember when they were doing flyovers to celebrate the nurses fighting COVID-19, people from, say, Germany and that were really confused and asking in the comment sections of these news videos, why are they doing that? They just didn't understand. And people were like, America, they're being saluted by the military. And the Germans were actually scared, and they're like, that's a bit frightening. We're like, welcome to America. And, we are a very militaristic bent country, and we are brought up in it. We're brought up, USA all the way, and we love our military. And this isn't, anti-military. I love our troops, but we are highly militaristic country. When we think a flyover of jets is a proper way to salute you for being on the front lines and saving lives, we are highly militaristic. It would be like the ancient army of Rome marching past your hospital and all saluting you. It's kind of the same thing, and it kind of puffs us up because we are militaristic. We like feeling like we're good little soldiers or whatever branch of the. Shut up! I'm getting Space Force back there. Shut up! I gotta imagine those young people are really getting it and getting it good. I'm sure they're getting all the Star Trek jokes. Those poor people. But we are a militaristic society, which is why somebody who shall not be named fits in so well over here, because we are a militaristic society and we do have a lot of problems. And now it's kind of like a waiting game. I mean, we do still have to do what we can. We do still have to, march forward for progress and change, but it is going to be a waiting game. You know, uh, you're seeing things like I grew up with Dukes of Hazzard. You don't unsub yet. At the time, it was not seen as a bad thing because most people in the North didn't have the vaguest notion of what the rebel flag stood for. And a lot of people around here that have them really, I don't know all their stories, but I think people almost thought it was like a decoration, that it had no meaning. And you're seeing those episodes being taken down. And you're also seeing the boss hogs of this world, and I can think of a few, and I think you can, to come out of the woodwork and be like, I'm just a good old boy from the South and the Confederacy. And I'm getting clapping and cheers back here. No offense to Southern viewers, because we have more of them up north than you do down in the South. We do. I live in Pennsylvania. It's a very racist. I live in Klan country. I do. It's why we did not have Juneteenth, or they would have burned my damn house down. It's kind of we're waiting for change, and we should march forward and try for progress, but it's going to take a while. I've talked to Lokean, and he's like, people want these statues gone, and they should be gone, but at the same time, when you do it through a more violent means, I get it. I get being that angry that you want to destroy something. Believe me, we've all gone through it. But, the problem is then it sparks a reaction on the other side that they're like, well, see, this is why we have these statues or something like that. And these statues are now suddenly precious where nobody cared about them before. People didn't like seeing them perhaps, or people were upset by them. But the people that kind of like seeing them, they were really attached to these until people started taking them down. So now there's this kind of whipsaw reaction of we now must send out troops to protect these statues, which is ridiculous because it's just a statue, it's not the person. So it's kind of weird, and we have a orange person that is going to go to Mount Rushmore, and oh lordy. Now that we're just opening US history and we're looking at it, we're like, oh wow. And First Nations people are like, really? Really? One thing that's on our land? And two, why is it all these people that were problematic? And they were problematic people. And it's a thing. So we're just gonna have to go for a process, and you're gonna see a lot of people pushing back because it's painful when you grew up being taught one version of history and then you learn the real version. It's like you just dropped into the matrix and you are not happy, and you're going to see a lot of confused, hurt people lashing out. The history we were brought up with in school, especially people my age, is not the actual history of the United States, and it's going to take time for us to deal with that and to deal with, what do you mean Washington had slaves? He did? And if the slaves were mentioned in my time, they were either mentioned casually or like, oh, they called them servants. That was the term they used. And they just had a lot of servants back then, a hell of a lot of servants, and especially on plantation, hell of a lot of servants. They hired these people because nobody's going to tell a little child about slavery, so they made up a version they told us of. They were on vacation from Africa forever, and they brought them here at their own personal expense, and they gave them a job. Yeah, you like jobs, don't you? And they gave them housing. Yeah, bet where your mommy or daddy works doesn't do that today. And if you looked at it that way, that sounded like a pretty sweet deal. They paid for you to get to the country, and they gave you housing, and gave you employment, and they fed you. And then you find out the truth about slavery later, and you just can't deal for a while. So that's what you're seeing, guys. That's why you're seeing this reaction to these statues. People didn't give two shits about these statues until they start to identify it with all the lies they've been brought up with, and the idea that people that with pale skin are always good people and always have the best of intentions and always take care of other people. And it's kind of this, let's not make this a 30-minute video, but it's kind of this, I call it the white knight fallacy, where white people are kind of this gallant knight on their steed running in to rescue everyone else. And one, we know there's no such thing as white because we're all the human race. But two, it also makes everybody else ever so slightly less than. They're helpless and they need help and they need you to ride into the rescue. And we have to end that. And it's kind of painful for white people because we want to help, but we have to realize the days of getting on our mount and charging in and selling forth and rescuing the helpless people of wherever is not, going to work anymore. We have to get down off the horse and we have to help as equals. And we don't know how to do it because suddenly we feel powerless. We can't get up on that horse and we can't charge in and rescue and save the day because we don't have that option anymore. So we're kind of we're dealing with it. So for everybody else, people with paler skin are dealing with it the best they can. They're kind of confused. And that's it. And, even if we have always seen other people as equals, you still kind of have that default of, okay, time to get on my horse and ride to the rescue because it's just part of our culture. Cowboys, knights, even into the future, it's always this gallant, usually white male, even though we know again, white is not a thing, jumping into either a vehicle or on a horse and riding to the rescue. It's predominantly white male. So it's something we have to kind of unlearn. And we're kind of, we're kind of learning, well, if everybody's equal, maybe we don't always have to ride to the rescue, and maybe sometimes people have stuff, and we don't in supporting a cause, but sometimes we back off because they have got this and we don't always have to ride into the rescue. We have to kind of relearn to support as equals. And we believe everybody's are equal, and yet we have that idea of riding into the rescue so ingrained in us that it's kind of hard not to. So, it's something we have to talk about. And I'm getting ooh back here, but it is something that I think is systemic. You'll see news reporters that they want to do the right thing and they want to report on things and they want to help, but you have to be very careful of that notion that we are the strongest, best ones, and we have to ride in and rescue because there's no such thing as strongest, best ones. So I hope that helped and I didn't step on too many toes, but that's the original video I wanted to make you. It's why I have a problem with folkish heathenry. It's why I have a problem with putting these gods over here with their people. That's inherently racist. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. And eventually the Steam sale will work, and eventually this country will and globe will work, but it's just gonna take time, guys. Fight the good fight, keep on keeping on, and we will see you guys later. Bye bye.